The initial indicator came through at around 7:30 a.m. Threat actor gained access to the customer's site through stolen credentials. If you think about it, domain admin credentials is like one of the highest privileges you can have in an organization. So having those was pretty damaging to the hospital. On top of that, they did not have two-factor authentication on for VPN connections into the hospital.
This particular attack, it involved data exfiltration primarily. So in a lot of cases, what these ransomware gangs do is what's called double extortion. So they steal your data and they encrypt your data. Now, obviously, the ones that involve encryption are by far the most disruptive. They're the ones that are shut hospitals down. They're the ones that shut oil pipelines down. They're the ones that shut big and small organizations down, because effectively you've got no data, you have no information. In some cases, what they also do is they will steal your data. So they'll basically say, hey, look, we've got all of this data. It's very sensitive data. Obviously, in the case of hospitals, that's a particular concern. And if you don't pay us, we will release your data on the dark web on this date at this time.
Once they were in the environment, we can see from ThreatLocker's storage control and from the application Allowlisting that they tried to run AnyDesk, to get AnyDesk installed on one of the machines, and that got denied. And then they ultimately started moving laterally in the environment.
As I said, it was data exfiltration and extortion as opposed to encryption, which in a lot of ways is a lot better, because it meant the hospital didn't have to shut their doors. It meant they didn't have to turn away patients. It was something that could be dealt with, I suppose, quietly and behind the scenes. The interesting things about it was as part of the negotiations. So these gangs will negotiate with people. So it's not a case of they say you need to give us $500,000 or you don't get your data back or deleted or supposedly deleted. But very often you can negotiate with them. And there's companies out there whose main task is to negotiate with ransomware gangs. A lot of the insurance companies now, in some cases, will negotiate on your behalf. But as part of the negotiation, one of the services that ransomware gangs offer is to basically tell you how not to get hit again. So they'll tell you fundamentally how they got in, what they were able to do, and how you can avoid it happening in future. Part of the conversation back and forth between the gang and the organization, they told them how they got in. They said, hey, we were in this other organization first of all. We basically ran into ThreatLocker and couldn't do what we wanted to do, so therefore pivot. Can't remember the exact term they used. It was something along the lines of, we saw you have ThreatLocker and we realized we couldn't use your Windows machines for our purposes, so we moved on.